East everyone. So this will be a quick video. I gotta go to work. Gotta get gas. But Muscogee Nation of Oklahoma right now has a job offering for Ostin job offerings for people to become full-time Muscogee language students. Now, this isn't like you get to have a regular job and also be a full-time student. No. This is your job. They're paying you so that you can actually support yourself and your family. Okay. If I lived back there, I would apply. Now, they're hinting at people in their 20s and 30s, which I think is a wise idea because, quite frankly, you know, if you're like 25 to 35 years old, you've already gone to college, hopefully, or at least in any case, are really good at writing papers. You know how to spell well, things like that. Then this 2-year internship, or rather this 2-year like study program, paid study program, is apprenticeship in the language. It's a vehicle to learn, well, not to learn, it's a vehicle to have a job for the nation where you are going to be translating stuff into Muskogee. So there's going to be legal literature and things like that you're going to be doing, among other things that you'll be translating into. It may not just be like the court language. It might be other stuff as well. But if you're good at writing papers, if you're good at transcribing stuff, you know how to spell properly, okay, then, and you're responsible as a person, you're not just someone who's out there, drinking your life away and partying and doing stupid crap. You're someone who actually is responsible. I would say please apply, because I wish I could. I'm 44 years old. I would love to go back there and do that, but I don't live out there. I can't go out there and do this. And so I know we have Becky Barnett doing the language program online. The problem is it's like midday California time, and I can't do this Zoom class if it's midday. I'm working. I'll be installing water heaters. I'll be finishing up an install at best by the time the class is over. And that's just not, it's not feasible for me. It's not, so I know Edwin Marshall, it seems like he sporadically does classes. I don't know, maybe I'm mistaken. He does a lot of stuff, but I'm not sure how much of that is like a full-time, like regular classes. Joe Kuhn has his new Muscogee Language Learner Facebook page where he does a lot of videos. That's awesome. So I know he's teaching, but I don't know how effective all of this is in the long run. And I think it's kind of like, one of my viewers said that the Yuchi language is not dying out at all, that it's actually very much alive at the ceremonial grounds. Whereas about 11 years ago, something like that, there was the Yuchi Language Project, which said there was like very few speakers left, like 5 full, like fluent speakers that were all old, that were then doing this whole live-in program. And this guy's saying that's not actually true. I would like to talk to a friend of mine who's part of one of the Yuchi grounds and see what is actually the case. And so I need to reach out to him and ask him that question. But that would seriously change the narrative of what I understood before. Okay. And I want to make sure I'm keeping the narrative correct. Right. Keeping what I say consistent with reality and truth. Okay. Muskogee as a language we've been trying really hard for decades to revitalize it and to preserve it. And there's been we're talking the literature from like 100 plus years ago, and the literature from probably more recently is being cited in our dictionary and other literature. There is a better way to teach a language, I think, especially abroad. I remember the Teach Yourself Gaelic book and CDs back in 2007. And I studied that for a little bit. The problem is I had no one else to learn it with. But I learned what I learned pretty quickly. I got through a couple chapters, and it sounds like, a big deal, a couple chapters, except that I actually learned more conversational Gaelic that way than anybody else I knew at the Scottish Games, right? And anyone else in the reenactment, okay? And I could still remember most of what I learned in those 2 chapters, not because it was so little, but just because it was taught so well. It was a good teach yourself course, and I would use that as the model. Now, on the flip side, you still have to have people to talk to. So anyway, doing something like this makes sense. Muscogee Nation pouring money into this to get 4 people to learn, it's an investment. They're investing in you, but they also expect you to invest back into the tribe, and with good reason. You're going to be expected to be carrying the torch into the future, and hopefully they can continue hiring more apprentices to really, spread the language. But they're going to want to see a return on this initial investment for sure. And I think until we come up with a better way to teach it and to make sure people abroad can learn, you got citizens of ours in Estonia who are talking about, oh, I want to learn. That's great. Well, yeah, dude, you're not going to be able to take the classes online. You're going to be staying up all night. In the middle of the night, you're going to be taking classes in Oklahoma time. It's just the way it is. So yeah, anyway, if you're interested, you live in Oklahoma, you're a citizen of the tribe, because I believe you have to be a citizen, then yeah, by all means, go apply. Make sure your life is that you're responsible, you're not into drugs, alcohol, that you keep your life pretty clean, and that you are at least reasonably well educated. And yeah, go apply and help us preserve the language, because we need the language to exist. Okay, if we're going to really exist as a culture and as a people, other than being Indians on paper. Anyway, talk to y'all later. Mado.